Hello, and welcome to the introduction of a new campaign which seeks to expose the sexual violation and abuse of animals who are used as breeding slaves for the meat, dairy and egg industries. For the month of February, I'll be pushing back on the animal harmers' desperate attempt to spread humane dairy propaganda via the hashtag Febudairy, which is the farmers' own pathetic attempt at damage control in response to animal rights activists' many exposés of their horrific and vile industry. So this month I've dubbed Febuscary, which will uncover the shameful ways humans sexually exploit female and male animals in order to breed them to meet consumer demand for their body parts and byproducts. Many of you may think that the dairy industry is the only industry to commit rape and violation of animals, but it is actually a fundamental part of all industries which produce animal products. In fact, without sexual abuse, animal agriculture does not exist. So today let's begin with one of the most obvious and well-known industries built off of sexual abuse and animal slavery, the shameful dairy industry. In the dairy industry, stud bulls are used for their semen. Semen collection generally begins at around 11 to 12 months old. A male teaser animal is at times used for mounting, and the handler uses an artificial vagina for semen collection. So basically, they get a very young male animal sexually aroused and jack him off to take his semen. According to Farmers Weekly magazine, the stud bulls have access to a sand arena and playpen for exercise to keep them fit and healthy. Oh, so you give them a sand pen and some straw in exchange for sexual acts? That's not disturbing at all. In artificial insemination centres, bulls are typically collected 2 or 3 times per week, with 2 or 3 ejaculates per collection day. Bull handlers do not get involved in routine health treatments, so bulls only associate them with pleasurable activities. In some cases, stockmen have allocated bulls so they can build up a relationship based on mutual respect and trust. Okay, sounds like literal bestiality. Mutual respect? Doesn't mutual imply both parties are consenting? Animals are not capable of giving consent, just like children. Some bulls are still producing viable sperm at 14 years old. 14 years of sex slavery? And what happens to the stud bulls when you're done molesting them? They get retired to the local slaughterhouse and get turned into steak? This is painting a very disturbing picture already. Another disturbing way to retrieve semen from stud bulls is through electroejaculation.
We've examined the bull, everything, so we're ready to do the collection. So Dr. Carpenter is going to place the probe in the rectum for us.
And according to veterinary sites, electroejaculation is now the safest and standard method of semen collection used by trained veterinary surgeons in the UK. The process goes as follows. A large probe is inserted into the rectum of the restrained animal as it delivers a current of electricity into the nerves of his anus until he ejaculates into the hand of a vet or farmer who is holding a vial for collection.
This is usually collected using the electroejaculator.
He's placed some lubricant on the probe.
I'm going to go ahead and turn on the ejaculator, and you will probably see the bull react.
Bond a little bit here. You can pull that pipe up one if you want to.
And hopefully we will get an erection.
You can see that he's reacting more so, and he is putting out quite a lot of prostate fluid. And
now notice his penis is starting to protrude. Always make sure we examine that penis. Now the bull's starting to ejaculate somewhat.
Here you can see some of the clear fluid coming out during the collection, and we'll keep repeating this process 5 to 10 times in order to get a nice collection from this bull.
So there, we've got our bull collected now. There was no pain associated with it, no anguish, very minimal stress.
Okay, so you restrain the animal in a cattle crush and rape him with an electric dildo until he ejaculates? Sounds like these farmers have a very distorted sense of what caring for animals actually means. This is just sodomy and molestation. Imagine what's going through their minds as they're being restrained and penetrated. These animals are vulnerable like children and must be left feeling violated and confused. In order for cows to produce milk, they have to be pregnant or have recently given birth. Dairy farmers like to control this process themselves. Cows will show they're on heat by standing to be mounted and may have some mucus on the towel and around their vulva. Farmers might use paint or chalk to see if the cows have tried to mount each other.
You're looking for differences in the chalk or chalk that may have been rubbed off to indicate that the cow may be in heat.
After determining which cows are on heat, the farmer or vet will restrain the animal in a cattle crush. It's not comfortable for the cow to have an arm shoved into her near shoulder deep, so they have to be held down, for safety reasons, apparently. One of the most disturbing parts of this whole process is the cow's age. We're talking about very young, vulnerable animals. How confused and scared they must be. With the help again of the popular Farmers Weekly magazine, here's a step-by-step process for the legally sanctioned sexual abuse of cows.
On the farm, our first choice for breeding our cows is artificial insemination, which is the veterinary procedure of placing semen into the uterus.
First, stick on a full-length arm glove and lubricate it. The farmer or vet will prepare the cow by wiping clean her vulva with a paper towel. Now, they'll form a cone with their fingers and insert their arm into the rectum of the cow while keeping the towel aside. Of course, not forgetting to work out any excess poop.
Then you can see there's manure inside the rectum. So the first thing I'll do is clean out that manure and then try to clear out any air or anything.
From here, I can clean out any manure that's in their rectum.
Now, they'll locate the cervix of the cow through the wall of the anus and use downward elbow pressure to part the lips of the vulva and guide in the AI gun until there's a release of resistance. The semen will be deposited near the uterine horns, where the cervix ends and the uterus begins.
The end goal is to get your gun through the rings of the cervix into the uterus and then deposit the semen right there.
Then right away, get the semen into the cow so that it stays warm.
And that's how farmers rape animals so they can steal their milk and children. The process is repeated and repeated until the animals are no longer of economic use to the farmer and they'll be sent off to be murdered for their flesh. Now, I know how uncomfortable it is to hear this process being explained to you. It's even uncomfortable for me to be explaining this. But just for a moment in your feeling of discomfort, just imagine what it feels like to actually have this done to yourself. Put yourself in the animal's position. A young, childlike, conscious being.
Oh, that is super.
Being restrained and violated. What a sick way to treat our fellow earthlings for products we don't need. I feel deeply embarrassed at the actions of our race. Please share this video far and wide with the hashtag #FebuScary to those who need to see exactly the type of sexual abuse of non-consenting animals they are paying for when they purchase animal products. Let's all oppose and boycott the sexual exploitation of sentient beings, no matter the species. Thank you.